Kurupt. He killed two of his bodyguards. They're trying to kill him. Killed two of his bodyguards. They blamed it on me because he made a song about me. Even though nobody really heard the song, you know. This dumb whack, you know, being that he made a song about me, I had to be the one doing it. I'm not fucking pissed off at a whack record.
D, M. Only X I know's exhibit a RBX.
I'm tired of weak ass whining over that don't belong to them. What's wrong with them? They f***ing up for real niggas like my mans and them.
In hip-hop in the 1990s, seeing West Coast and East Coast rappers beefing was second nature. DMX and Kurupt would start beefing in the late 1990s. Before we get into this, I want to make sure y'all are subscribed to the channel, and if you want to watch this video early and uncut, make sure to head over to my Patreon and support the channel. For just $2, you get access to videos early, uncut, and uncensored. But without further ado, let's get into it. Let's take you into the early 1990s where DMX was an underground king ruling the underground rap scene in New York while Kurupt was getting his big break with Death Row. In 1992, when he was just 19 years old, Kurupt, along with his homie Daz Dillinger, signed to Death Row Records. Together, they formed the duo known as the Dogg Pound. Kurupt was a rolling 60s Crip and Daz was a rolling 20s Crip hailing from Long Beach, California. Eventually, they would form the extension of the Dogg Pound called DPGC, which stands for Dogg Pound Gangsta Clique, which included the likes of Snoop Dogg, Nate Dogg, RBX, etc. They made their debut on Dr. Dre's album The Chronic in late 1992. The DPGC also had a huge part in Snoop Dogg's colossal debut album Doggy Style in 1993, appearing on several records and skits throughout the album. In 1994, the Dogg Pound were ready to begin the rollout for their debut album, Dog Food. In late 1994, they dropped their debut song, What Would You Do?, which would go on to be a success, and this track would be nominated for the Grammys in 1996 for Best Rap Performance by a Duo or Group. On October 31st, 1995, the Dogg Pound dropped their debut studio album, Dog Food. The album debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200, selling over 270,000 copies in the first week. Kurupt would eventually begin dating female rapper Foxy Brown in 1996. Foxy Brown was from Brooklyn, New York. Eventually, in 97, Kurupt and Foxy Brown would get engaged. Around this time is when DMX was gaining a ton of momentum after signing a record deal with Def Jam. In February 1998, he dropped his major label debut single, Get At Me Dog, which would gain him a ton of buzz, peaking at number 39 on the Billboard. After this, it was clear that DMX is here, and throughout 1998, he would take over the music industry with his all-time classic debut album, It's Dark and Hell Is Hot. Somewhere in mid-1998 is when DMX and Foxy Brown, who was Kurupt's fiancé at the time, started allegedly hooking up behind Kurupt's back. Kurupt wouldn't find out though until Rough Riders member Eve allegedly told Kurupt that Foxy Brown and DMX were getting together behind his back. Now this is according to Foxy Brown herself, and this would ultimately lead to Foxy Brown and Eve beefing.
What about you and Eve? Have you guys patched up? What happened with that?
There was really nothing to patch up. I don't like Eve. I don't like her. It has nothing to do with music. It's something that she did that was very disrespectful a couple years ago.
What did she do, Foxy?
Honestly?
Yes.
No one knows this. The reason why Kurupt ever found out anything about DMX having a crush or liking me was through her.
Oh.
So I approached her, and she ran from me.
Oh.
Here, point blank.
Foxy Brown and DMX most likely got connected because they were both signed to Def Jam at the time. In the summer of '98, Foxy Brown and DMX were both on the Survival of the Illest tour. In December of 1998, DMX dropped his all-time classic album, Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood. And on the track Bring Your Whole Crew, it's heavily speculated that he took subliminal shots at Kurupt. DMX says that he's out for blood with the Crips at war. Now, of course, Kurupt being a Crip, this could be interpreted as a diss towards him.
I'm out for blood with the Crips at war.
Asking him how much he could talk with his lips on the floor, and that these make him itch, and allegedly calls Kurupt a bitch.
How much Could you talk with your lips on the floor? Make me itch, so I scratch you's a bitch.
He also refers to Kurupt as a fake pit, which he's referring to the dog breed pit bull, basically saying Kurupt ain't a dog like him, which could be a reference to the dog pound, seeing as how dogs are prevalent in both DMX and Kurupt's careers.
So I snatch up your face, fake pit, so I scratch you.
Then DMX says that he would have jumped and choked him, but now he wants to smoke him.
Yeah, that was the time when I would've jumped up and choked the shit. Now I'm on some shit like, yo, smoke.
Saying that somebody better tell Kurupt to chill out before he kills him.
Somebody come and get this before I kill him.
Now, this is speculated to be a diss towards Kurupt, so take it as you will. In 1999 is when the beef would fully kick off. So after Kurupt got word that DMX was hanging out with his fiancée behind his back, he would of course get frustrated with the whole situation. On January 26, 1999, Foxy Brown dropped her album China Doll. On this album is a track called Dogg and a Fox, which features DMX. Not only did this confirm the rumors of Foxy Brown and DMX hanging out and going to the studio, but Kurupt claimed that this track concept was originally intended for him and Foxy Brown to be on instead of DMX. So if this is true, this definitely angered Kurupt even more.
So was you and X issue actually over her?
Totally.
Oh, so X was messing with her when y'all was together?
Totally.
Damn.
And I got offended. Then she took one of my concepts. We was gonna make a record called The Dogg and the Fox.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then she went and did it with Earl. So I was like, oh man.
During this time, Kurupt was working on his second album, The Streets Is a Mother, and on this album, he recorded a track called Calling Out Names. This track would end up getting out a couple of months before the album dropped. This track serves as a diss track towards multiple people, 50 Cent, Ja Rule, and DMX. The DMX disses come in on the first verse, saying Mother FD, Mother FM, and that the only X he knows is Exhibit and RBX.
D, mother M. Only X I know is Exhibit or RBX. Extraordinary.
Mentions how DMX tried to snag his as in Foxy Brown, but then say he can have her, and that DMX and Foxy Brown are two getting rich.
Trying to snatch my you can have them two getting rich.
He warns DMX that if he comes to the West Coast, he'll get stripped down and beaten to death, all over a female.
Just to come to the West Coast and get stripped down, beat to death, stripped all over.
At the end of the verse, he says that he's with a new girl since his old one tweaked, which is a direct reference to the Foxy Brown and DMX situation.
With a new since my old bitch tweaked.
On verse 2, Kurupt says that the only member of Rough Riders he likes is Eve, and says that the rest of them can get these. Kurupt praising Eve on this track can almost confirm that Foxy Brown was correct about Eve being the one to spill the beans to Kurupt about Foxy Brown and DMX's entanglement behind his back.
Only thing I like that ride rough is Eve, and all the rest of y'all ride rough get deep.
Kurupt then says F Rough Riders, F The Firm, and F Belly. The Firm was Nas's old group, which included Foxy Brown, and Belly is the movie Nas and DMX starred in together in 1998. So this is a clear shot at X and Foxy Brown. Kurupt took shots at The Firm, not only because Foxy Brown was a part of it, but the leader of The Firm, Nas, actually did an interview with XXL praising the whole DMX and Foxy Brown situation, saying that Foxy Brown should have been with someone from New York anyway.
Rough Rider, The Firm, Belly.
On the outro, Kurupt imitates DMX when he says, "Get at me, homie," which is a play and reference to DMX's song, "Get at me, dog."
Get at me, dog.
Get at me, homie.
On the original version of the track, Kurupt mocks DMX in the beginning,
Gangsta. For the West Coast.
Not long after this track got out, on October 17th, 1999, at around 11:40 p.m., Kurupt was at the Echo Studios in Los Angeles recording the album when a shooting would occur, leaving his bodyguard, Dwayne Dupree, dead after multiple gunshot wounds to the chest, and two other rappers, Willard Givers and Javon Jones, were shot in the calf and foot. After the shooting, there was immediate speculation that DMX was behind the hit, due to Kurupt's diss song, to which a spokesperson for DMX would respond on his behalf saying, DMX is in Miami recording his album. It is unfortunate that an act of that nature happened. DMX is not knowledgeable of this. I just got off the phone with him. DMX would then further deny the accusations that he was involved in the shooting in any way.
Kurupt, he killed 2 of his bodyguards. They're trying to kill him. Killed 2 of his bodyguards. They blamed it on me because he made a song about me. Even though nobody really heard the song. And, you know, dumb whack, you know, being that he made a song about me, I had to be the one doing it. I'm not pissed off at a whack record.
A month later, on November 16th, 1999, Kurupt dropped his album The Streets Is a Mother. On the album appeared the track calling out names with all the DMX disses. On the track titled Who Ride With Us, at the end of the track there's a skit where Kurupt is going through different radio stations, and one of the fictional radio stations has a skit with someone pretending to be DMX, imitating him.
Who I am, who I be, till I die. That's my word, till I die. That's who I was. What?
A month later, on December 21st, 1999, DMX dropped his third album, And Then There Was X. On this album appeared the colossal hit record, Party Up. This track was actually a diss track. Throughout the song, DMX is threatening someone, and that someone is speculated to be Kurupt, as DMX's response towards his disses. DMX opens the track saying that he's gonna bring it to all these cowards, and says that all the cats Kurupt runs with can get done with dumb quick.
I got to bring it to you cowards, then it's gonna be quick. And all the mother cats you run with, get done with, dumb quick.
Eerily enough, this could be a reference to the shooting that took place outside of Kurupt's studio. Then saying, there go the gun click all over some dumb shit. Again, DMX could be hinting at involvement in the shooting at Echo Studios.
There go the gun click, 911 all over some dumb shit. Ain't that some shit?
On the second verse, DMX says that y'all rappers are characters and not even good actors. Then saying that Kurupt is whack, twisted, and that his girl is a clear shot at Kurupt and reference to Foxy Brown, hooking up with him behind Kurupt's back.
Whack, you twisted, your girl's a.
Then saying he's tired of all you weak-ass dudes fighting over females that don't belong to them. Again, more shots at Kurupt.
I'm tired of weak ass whining over that don't belong to them. What's wrong with them?
Then, on the third verse, DMX says that someone is running their mouth, so he's gonna blow his lung out, and says that he's about to be missing.
Running his mouth, I'ma blow his lung out. Listen, your is about to be missing.
Now, this was a bad blow at Kurupt, getting dissed on a track that turned out to be a mega hit. Being played in clubs all over the world is just humiliating and the best way to win a beef. DMX was clearly the bigger artist at the time, so this was a clever way to get back at Kurupt. About a month later, on January 17th, 2000, DMX was at the American Music Awards at the Shrine Auditorium in Los Angeles. In the press room, DMX answered questions, and someone asked about his beef with Kurupt, to which DMX would say that there is no issue with him and Kurupt.
2 questions. How are you dealing with the conflict with Kurupt?
All right, first of all, there is no conflict with Kurupt. You know, so I'm not dealing with anything.
Now, this was a weird response, given that people suspected that he dissed Kurupt on Party Up, so maybe this was a way of him not trying to give Kurupt any light, or maybe trying to divert attention away from the beef, because maybe DMX had something to do with the shooting outside of Echo Studios. Who knows? Kurupt never responded to Party Up, but instead decided to squash the beef. On July 17th, 2001, Kurupt dropped his album Space Boogie Smoke Odyssey, and on the track Just Don't Give a F***, he says that he's squashing the beef between him and DMX.
Cause I'm squashing this between me and DMX.
Years later, on August 23rd, 2005, Kurupt dropped his album Against the Grain. On the track Speak On It, Kurupt speaks on people that say that rappers like 50 Cent, Ja Rule, and DMX are the new Tupac. He says that there ain't no Tupac, then name drops DMX, saying that he ain't the new Tupac because DMX was faced with a lot of Tupac comparisons.
Ain't no new Tupac. DMX ain't the new Tupac.
After that, the beef went radio silent and things seemed to be squashed. According to Kurupt, him and DMX saw each other at an airport in 2017, where they finally officially squashed the beef after nearly 20 years.
But the reality of it is that we did squash our situation and became real good friends. We was good friends because, you know, we missed flights. We missed our flight just sitting there chopping it with each other like, fuck them flight. We'll get new ones. And just stayed there all night in the airport chopping up game, cuz, and it was great. And we've been great ever since. I'm glad I did that before he passed away because, you know, he's a great guy.
So there you have it, the full story of DMX versus Kurupt. Who do you think had the upper hand in this beef? DMX or Kurupt?